I don't know. I'm just saying, if you guys are not able to find him, like, what can happen?
What it's looking like right now is that we're going to need to stay with you until we find him. Because it sounds like you said you know where he is, so it shouldn't be an issue, right?
Child, this is upsetting.
Right. Yeah, somebody from Jefferson County called, getting detail about a 11-year-old being stabbed inside of this home, so they gave this out.
I don't even have a gun in my name.
You don't need to be upset. I understand it's your sister. I understand, but what you're doing right now is what I understand, but what you're doing right now is not. I'm not trying to be an asshole.
Yeah, you are.
What you're doing right now isn't helping. Please just go over there with them.
All you guys doing is filming for false.
The arrest of Ruby Franke and her business partner, Jody Hildebrandt, was sparked by the shocking discovery of Franke's emaciated 12-year-old son, adorned with open wounds and duct tape around his body. This disturbing revelation marked a pivotal moment in the investigation, propelling the case into the national spotlight. Newly released video evidence shockingly highlighted the boy's deteriorated condition compared to his cheerful appearances in earlier vlogs by his mother. You might want to brace yourself because the next part is even more startling.
Franke and her then business partner Jody Hildebrandt's arrest triggered after Franke's 12-year-old son was found emaciated with open wounds and duct tape around his body. A newly released Ring camera video, the young boy thinner and without shoes, in stark contrast to how he appeared years earlier in Franke's vlog. When he rings a neighbor's doorbell, he asks, "Can you take me to the nearest police station?"
Hold on to your coffee. This next bit is intense. A concerned neighbor swiftly dials 911 after the 12-year-old boy makes a desperate escape to her house, pleading for help. She urgently describes his alarming physical state and immediate need for assistance. As she informs the dispatcher that the boy has fled from a troubling situation nearby, it becomes evident that this case might involve more than just one child in danger. The urgency ramps up in the scene that follows, and trust me, it's a doozy.
Tell me exactly what's happened.
I just had a 12-year-old boy show up door asking for help, and he said he just came from a neighbor's house. There's been problems at this neighbor's house. He's emaciated, he's got tape around his legs, hungry, and he's thirsty.
Is your door locked?
No, I'm sitting outside with him on the front patio, and he asked us to call the police, so he's very afraid.
The neighbors out of their home?
Get ready for a heavy hit to the feels. First responders arrive at the scene only to be met with a sight that would leave anyone heartbroken. An EMT is visibly shaken by the severe injuries observed on the boy. This powerful moment underscores the grave nature of the abuse allegations against Franke and Hildebrandt. Witnessing such profound neglect firsthand visibly impacts everyone on scene. What comes next? Well, it's a moment of quiet amidst the storm.
I'll take more if you want me to send him to you.
Franke's son is later put inside an ambulance treatment where video shows officers talking to the young boy while he's on the gurney and asking who put the duct tape.
How did you get the ropes on you? Who did them? You're not in trouble with me, okay?
Here's where it gets even more emotional. When law enforcement officials discover Ruby Franke's young daughter hiding in a closet within Jody Hildebrandt's home, it's clear another child has suffered tremendously. Found sitting silently and appearing extremely frightened, the girl's presence in such a state highlights the severe impact of the traumatic environment she endured. As the officers try to comfort her, the plot thickens. Stick around for what happens next.
When officers go inside of the home, that's when they make another heartbreaking discovery. Ruby Franke's young daughter, who we're referring to as sitting inside of the closet, cross-legged on the floor in complete silence.
You come in, my buddy. I'm a police officer. Are you going for the union here? Hey, you okay? Is this just you in here? I'm Sergeant Tobler. What's your name? I just have one. Where's your sister at?
Bet you didn't see this coming. In a gentle and patient maneuver, Sergeant Tobler attempts to coax the young girl out of the closet. He carefully reassures her of her safety and confirms the apprehension of Hildebrandt, working hard to establish a fragile trust. This delicate interaction illuminates the care needed when dealing with traumatized children. But wait, there's more. Watch how the tension slowly transforms in the next clip.
Huh? You doing okay? You don't want to talk to me? That's okay. Can you come with me, though?
Sergeant Tobler would later tell ABC News they initially believed Franke's daughter was a little boy due to the young girl having a... Tobler then tells EF they apprehended Jody Hildebrandt. The little girl still sits silent, seemingly too afraid to speak.
We got Jody out here. You know Jody? She's outside with us. You take your time, bud. I'm in no hurry. I'm a police officer.
The next slice of the story serves up a glimmer of hope. After spending over an hour in silent fear, the young girl finally engages with the outside world by accepting food from Sergeant Tobler. He observes her hesitation and gently encourages her, symbolizing a small yet crucial step toward feeling secure. Her tentative acceptance of the pizza represents not just nourishment but a slice of normalcy and comfort amidst chaos. Up next, the breakthrough you've been waiting for.
EF seems nervous to eat as she stares at the small personalized pizza for several minutes. She can take a bite.
The tension finally begins to ease. After nearly 4 long hours, the young girl stands and, with hesitant steps, walks out of the closet with the emergency responders, marking a significant moment of trust and progress. She is subsequently taken to a hospital for further care, initiating her journey towards recovery. But the story isn't over yet. Ruby Franke's reaction in the next segment is something you won't want to miss.
But after nearly 4 hours, EF stands up with the emergency responder and slowly walks out of the closet. EF is later taken to a hospital. Hildebrandt and Franke were ultimately arrested. When officers later questioned Ruby Franke, she doesn't say a word, phased.
Is this your water? I'm gonna...
It's yours if you want it. We'll say that.
We also have snacks if you need anything.
Now, watch closely as the plot thickens. During the interrogation, Ruby Franke chooses to remain silent, opting to wait for her lawyer before discussing any details of the allegations. Her decision to withhold comment starkly contrasts with the prior urgent care provided by the responders, adding an intriguing layer of complexity to the unfolding legal drama. But keep watching. The narrative deepens and twists even further in the scenes that follow.
Well, I'll talk and see if we can schedule that, and maybe that's just something we just do with your attorney. Do you have any questions for us? Anything we can answer? Okay.
No.
All right. Appreciate your time. We'll have you hang tight in here. Come back and get you, and we'll be on our way. Okay.
Thank you.
Franke and Hildebrandt were later carted off to jail where they've remained behind bars since.
Can you believe this opening? The video kicks off with a police officer pointing out blood drops on a woman's shoes. This Washington woman stands accused of the unthinkable, eliminating her 4-year-old son, and she's spotted sporting a dramatic new haircut that screams Britney Spears' circa 2007 meltdown. As you digest this startling intro, brace yourself, because we're just getting started.
You got some blood drops on you.
A Washington woman is accused of murdering 4-year-old son, stabbing him dozens of times and leaving his body along the interstate.
Saw her today and she looked pretty out of it. I mean, she had her haircut, you know, like Britney Spears kind of thing, went crazy because she used to have like long, big...
Here's where it gets juicy. Family members had already been raising alarms about the woman's mental health and rampant substance abuse, suggesting she needed psychiatric help that went beyond basic interventions. Her behavior was erratic, clearly unable to provide a safe environment for her child. Hold tight, because the next part adds another layer of intrigue.
All this after her family voiced concerns about her drug and alcohol use.
Louise, my dad, actually talked to her mom and told her mom that she needed to probably find her daughter like special help, like a psychiatrist or something like that, because her problem was beyond just drugs and alcohol now. It was like her mind was there sometimes, and we told her to come actually get her and find her like a special help.
Just when you thought it couldn't get more intense, here we go. The scene unfolds in Everett, Washington, where last glimpses of 4-year-old Ariel Garcia paint a picture of a normal day turned nightmare. By afternoon, his disappearance was reported under eerie and unexplained circumstances. The mystery deepens dramatically in the next clip. Stay tuned.
The case begins on March 27th in Everett, Washington, just north of Seattle. At about 7 o'clock that morning, Ariel Garcia was last seen. By 4 o'clock in the afternoon, his grandparents him missing under mysterious circumstances.
How you doing?
Yeah.
You okay? Yeah, sure. Nothing on you?
No.
Okay.
You guys give us some privacy. Hey, so...
Nothing in your bra.
Things escalate quickly from here. Police locate Ariel's mother, Jeanette Garcia, at an alcohol rehab center significantly south of where her son was last seen. Something's off right from the start. Jeanette's story about her son's fall and subsequent doctor's visit is riddled with holes and inconsistencies. Buckle up, the ride gets bumpier ahead.
Body camera video shows sheriff's deputies catch up 4-year-old Ariel's mother, Jeanette Garcia. She was at an alcohol rehab center in Ridgefield, Washington, 3 hours south of where her son was last seen. Almost Almost right away, first responders notice something is off with Jeanette. Jeanette plays this off, saying her son fell in the morning.
So my son fell this morning earlier.
Oh no.
Yeah, but I was able to take him to the doctors and everything was okay. I took him with another lady.
Twist and turns anyone? Jeanette offers a tangled tale about leaving her son with a mysterious friend named Elisa, for whom she conveniently lacks any contact info. Her narrative is patchy, full of gaps that make verifying her claims a wild goose chase. The story spirals further out of control in the upcoming segment. Don't miss it.
Here's where the story goes off the rail. Jeanette says she left Ariel with another lady, but beyond that, she doesn't have any information.
We want to make sure that he's safe and know where he is. Who's the friend that you left?
I left him with another lady. I don't have her information.
Oh, well, that's not gonna cut it. We got to figure out where he's at. Can you like tell me the location where somebody could go on him and make sure he's okay?
In like SeaTac area.
Okay.
Seattle.
More specific?
I don't have an address.
The plot thickens, and so does the confusion. During a tense interview, Jeanette struggles to recount clear details about where or with whom she left her son. She mentions a drive to Seattle and a car left at a friend's house, but fumbles over the critical specifics like addresses or the exact route. What happens next will have you scratching your head.
When sheriff's deputies ask for more information, Jeanette is extremely vague.
So how do we find Alika? Can you describe to me how you got there from Providence?
So I just drove from there to Seattle.
You drove from Providence to Seattle to Alika's house?
Yes.
Okay. Did you drive on the freeway or how long did it take you to get there?
Like 2 hours.
2 hours. And what car were you?
My car.
Feel the tension in the air? Police are growing increasingly skeptical of Jeanette's all-over-the-place narrative. They emphasize the need to find Ariel to ensure his safety, but Jeanette's evasiveness and foggy memory are major roadblocks. The upcoming twist in the tale is something you won't want to miss.
You have a longtime friend that you reach out to leave your son with, who you obviously care about very much.
I love him with all my heart.
Yes. How upset you are about what's going on between you and your mom and the custody of him and your older son. That's horrible. So I know that you're not going to go leave your son with somebody and you don't know where he is.
Yeah.
So you do know where.
No, I know where he is. I know where he's at.
Tell me where he's at.
I don't have the address for him.
Okay, how can we find the address?
I don't know.
Did you put it in your phone?
No.
To get there?
Here's a doozy of a revelation. Under relentless questioning, Jeanette finally admits she doesn't actually know the address where she supposedly left her son. Her continual backtracking and inability to stick to a consistent story frustrate the officers to no end. Up next, Jeanette opens up about her personal battles, and it's a real eye-opener.
So tell me where he's at so we can make sure that he's okay or what's going on.
So he's not, I mean, he's there. He's with her, but
tell
he's
me
not
how
with
to
me.
go check on him.
I can give you an address.
Okay, what's the address?
I don't know. You have to write it down.
Okay, I can do that.
When he fell, where'd he get hurt?
Just he on his head, but he fell on the ground and he hurt himself.
Heads of the
I'm just trying to find, I don't even...
How old's your son?
So I don't know if this is the right one. Seattle, Washington.
Jeanette peels back the layers on her troubled past. She delves deep into her history with substance abuse, shedding light on her struggles with methamphetamine and alcohol. This conversation underscores her ongoing battle with addiction, which has severely impacted her ability to maintain a stable family environment. But just wait, the conversation takes a critical turn next.
Thing that everybody does. I'm going to go out, I'm going to have dinner, I'm going to do this. Well, I drink to the point where I can drink a whole bottle of just like liquor. So I'm like, now I'm an alcoholic. So I started to have all kinds of problems, and then now I'm back here hoping I can get clean again. It just depends.
Well, I'm glad you're in a space where you feel safe, that you feel like that can work for you. I hope it does.
Yeah.
As the stakes mount, things get even more serious. Police lay it out for Jeanette. They need to stay with her until Ariel's whereabouts are confirmed, underscoring the dire nature of the situation and their dedication to resolving the case. The update that follows is absolutely heart-wrenching. Prepare yourself.
So if you guys don't like locate my son, what's going to happen?
That's what we're working on at the moment.
Why do you think they wouldn't be able to locate him? I mean, if you got the address to where he...
Because, I don't know, I'm just saying if you guys are not able to find him, like what can happen?
What it's looking like right now is that we're going to need to stay with you until we find him. Because it sounds like you said you know where he is, so it shouldn't be an issue, right? To be able to locate him? Okay, so that's what we just need to stay with you until we locate him.
Okay.
In a tragic and disturbing climax, Ariel's body is found several hours south of where he was last seen. Just one day after Jeanette's fraud interview with the police, Jeanette faces charges of first-degree elimination among others, bringing a somber end to a harrowing search. As this chapter closes, we're left pondering the many unsettling facets of this case.
One day after Jeanette was taken into custody, Ariel's body was recovered several hours south of where he was last seen. Jeanette was charged with first-degree murder, domestic violence with a deadly weapon, aggravated domestic violence with the circumstance of a vulnerable victim. She's pleaded not guilty to all charges and is due back in court in August.
Hold on to your seats, folks. The police officer directs a resident to show their hands clearly. instantly establishing command upon stepping into the home. There's a razor-sharp focus on safety as the officer checks for any additional people inside. The situation is tense, reflecting the high stakes of the alarming 911 call they receive. You might want to buckle up because this is just the beginning.
Is that the man? This woman? Hey, you got a daughter here?
My daughter Allison right here. Come here, baby.
Oh, you step over here? Step over here. Is anybody else in the home?
No, sir. Our dad, her dad just...
Here's where it gets dicey. Officers respond to a nerve-wracking call about a baby being stabbed, cranking up the urgency of their mission. The resident, completely blindsided, denies having any children and expresses confusion about the alarming claim. The police keep probing, suspecting a dreadful crime might be unfolding right under their noses. You won't believe what's coming up next.
So what's going on? We got a call from Jackson County saying someone just stabbed a 11-month-old child.
Here?
Yep. It's 105 Hard Back.
Yes, sir. Okay. We've been here all morning. We've been here
Yeah,
all
contact.
morning. We have no kids here. My husband just left. I've been here. I
They said
just
there's no
like
kids
woke
here.
up when I heard the...
All right. You want to say that? We're going to clear the resident.
Did someone say suspense? Because that's what's brewing here. The police methodically sweep through the house, checking each room with intense caution. They call out repeatedly, making sure no one is lurking unseen. Their thorough search emphasizes their commitment to nailing down the situation, which might get hairy. Stick around, the plot thickens in just a moment.
All right.
You gotta open doors.
All right. We need you to get this way. There you go. Hold this way. You go ahead and clear that room and hold right here.
In the right hand, effective money. What's that in your orthopedic shoes? Why? It's
It's clear in there? All right. We're going to move forward here. We got these open doors. Want to hold right here? Hold right here.
Guess what happens next? Spoiler, it's confusing. As the officers conclude their preliminary search, confusion hangs thick in the air over the legitimacy of the distress call. The resident, visibly shaken, refutes any knowledge of the violent scenarios described in the 911 alert. The scenario draws frustration from all sides, showcasing the tricky nature of emergency calls that may be hoaxes. But wait, the reaction that follows is even more jaw-dropping.
Everything's good in here.
Is that police? Is that her?
Yeah.
What's she
Yeah.
saying?
I don't know. We just got here.
Morning, call. I don't even know who fucking called. I just jumped up out my bed, beating at my fucking door. I don't even have no little kid.
Hey, see if you can find out who the
Can I get
911 call.
call from somebody so that my
my call.
lawyer can get to the bottom of this? This is ridiculous.
Things are heating up now. The resident passionately outlines the ridiculousness of the accusation, stressing the absence of children and disconnect with the horrific details provided in the call. This part highlights the strain such incidents place on innocent individuals. The officers start to suspect a prank, yet remain professional in their conduct. Trust me, you'll want to see what they uncover next.
Child, this is upsetting.
Right. Yeah, somebody from Jackson County called, getting detail about a 11-year-old being stabbed inside of this home. So they gave this out.
I don't even have a gun in my name. My husband, he just got a gun that's in there. We don't even have no babies
Right.
at all. I haven't had my nieces and nephews over here in some months because we're getting ready for my daughter's graduation.
Right.
Brace for impact because this conversation takes a serious turn. The chat shifts towards the potential legal consequences of the false alarm as the resident considers pressing charges. Discussing the widespread issue of misused emergency services, they ponder the repercussions such false reports can have, which often leads to unnecessary panic and risks. The culmination of this saga is just on the horizon, so don't go anywhere yet.
And whoever did this, I'm pressing full. You don't play with nobody's fucking life, especially with kids. I do not play that shit. The much as I hurt for these children, I try my best to help the young man over there. I didn't even want to press charges because when they put him in that police car, I saw. And I understand you guys can't tell me who did it and their address and all
We don't
that.
know. It came in.
So even the 911
It
call
came
was-
in from across, and they were talking to the young lady on chat.
Can you believe what we're seeing here? The video kicks off with a stunning scene where a 14-year-old boy allegedly uses his dad's gun to shoot a 13-year-old girl. The moment is both chaotic and shocking as the girl suddenly collapses and begins to bleed profusely after a loud bang echoes. Stay tuned because the drama escalates in just a sec.
And he points at her and she like went to go move it. And that's when you just hear the loud bang and a little bit of a light. And then she dropped and next thing you know she just starts to bleed.
Okay.
Shocking moments we're seeing for the very first time after a 13-year-old New Mexico girl is shot and killed at the hands of a 14-year-old boy.
Just when you thought it couldn't get any crazier, we dive deeper into the boy's actions, revealing his surprisingly calm demeanor prior to the shooting, despite the horrific outcome. Meanwhile, the boy's father faces charges for making the firearm all too accessible, pointing out a serious lack of gun security at their home. Keep watching. The reaction of the girl's father is up next, and it's heartbreakingly raw.
And he was never mad about anything?
Everyone was laughing, having a good time.
Everybody was just having a good time? Feel like he meant to do this?
I don't know, because if I think about it, he didn't seem mad or anything, but then why would he have his finger on the trigger and just do that? So I don't really know.
Get ready for a real tearjerker. The emotional weight of the tragedy is palpable when EMS breaks the devastating news to the girl's father that she has been pronounced dead. His grief-stricken response is captured on the body cam, and it's a truly somber moment. Buckle up, the intensity is about to get dialed up.
The newly released body camera video also shows the heartbreaking reaction of the girl's father when he learns for the first time
EMS just pronounced her deceased.
Oh my God, man.
Body camera footage from July 28th shows first responders arrive at the scene, Cuesta, New Mexico, about 2 hours north of Santa Fe.
Were you here? You said you do have a full out.
Seriously, how could it get worse? In the aftermath, the scene is frantic with first responders and the girl's brother desperately trying to cope. The brother is visibly shattered, and the first responders struggle to manage the crisis as they await further medical help. The twist coming up in the investigation will have you guessing.
What you're doing right now is not helping. I'm gonna need you to go sit down over here. Just give us a second, okay? You don't need to be upset. I understand it's your sister. I understand, but what you're doing right now is I understand, but what you're doing right now is not. I'm not trying to be an asshole to you.
Yeah, you are.
What you're doing right now isn't helping. Please just go over there with them.
All you guys doing is filming for policy. Like you're doing more.
Here's the thing, dude. The medics are on the way. All we can try to do is while the medics are here. She has a pulse.
At first glance, it seems straightforward. The investigation starts to peel back layers as officers explore theories of a supposed drive-by shooting. They scour the area for casings and other clues to support this fading theory, but skepticism is mounting. The revelations just ahead are nothing short of jaw-dropping.
At first, officers hear the girl was on the street in front of the home when she was injured in a drive-by shooting.
Walking while she got shot. Can you show me on the street where it was?
Supposedly it's a drive-by that happened near the road.
Based on that, officers begin searching the street area for evidence.
I'm looking for a casing too down there. I don't see anything yet. They said it happened down here on the street, and that's where I'm looking. Hey Siri. Okay Google, call Chief.
Truth really is stranger than fiction, folks. It turns out, the boy whipped up a fake story of a drive-by to mask the real circumstances behind the shooting. Witness accounts begin to dismantle this fabricated narrative, revealing a tale of reckless gun handling. The following testimony will flip the script.
Your copy is down, great.
Get some tape and
start taping everything off.
Tape everything off. Put the unit in the road. I want to block off whatever we can.
At this, first responders hear an initial story that Archuleta's brother arrived at the home saying his sister had been shot.
Was she inside?
We drove her in here to get tissue.
From the front door?
Huh?
From the front door?
But she didn't get no blood because I grabbed the carpet and we kind of like wrapped her in it.
Okay.
You won't believe what's coming next. A friend details the chilling moments just before the gun fired, describing the casual handling of the weapon and the shocking, abrupt gunfire that struck the girl. This story takes another twist as you hear what the father says next, and it's astonishing.
And we ended up going to the front and going back into his house. And then next thing you know, he pulls out, I think it's a revolver, the one that has like a spinning barrel. Pulls out one of those.
It was a handgun?
Yeah.
Okay, who does?
The girl tells law enforcement a group of friends was inside the home of 14-year-old Porfirio Brown when the boy pulled out a handgun. He pointed it at Archuleta's face.
And then he ends up pointing it at her, and she went to go.
Give me 1 second, okay?
This confession changes everything. Further witnesses confirm the boy's attempt to concoct a drive-by shooting story to explain away the injuries. This house of cards begins to collapse as more details emerge. Next up, the father's reaction to his daughter's death is utterly gut-wrenching.
Multiple witnesses later tell investigators Brown's idea to come up with a drive-by shooting scenario.
At what point did somebody start cleaning up?
I really didn't see him do it all that much.
I mean, like, say something, is it okay if I speak to him? Tell him what he wanted you to help him do. He asked you to help him carry you to the roadside so he could say it was a drive-by.
No one saw this coming. The heart-wrenching moment unfolds as the father learns of his daughter's death, overwhelmed by a profound sense of loss. This poignant episode captures the devastating personal toll of the incident. Just around the corner, watch how the legal system starts to tackle the grim realities of this case.
Hi, sir. I understand, sir. Can you talk to me for just a couple minutes? The EMS just pronounced her deceased.
Oh my God, man. He's gone. Can I please go see him?
Yes, sir. 404, 406. You have the father walking in now. He's got carpenter knee pads on, a blue t-shirt and a baseball cap. I'm sorry, sir. My condolences. I'm honestly, I'm gonna do my damnedest to figure out what happened. I'm sorry.
My son called me. God, I know I can't be.
Now for the legal bombshells. The narrative shifts to the legal consequences faced by the boy's father, charged under the newly minted Benny's Law for negligent firearm storage. This law puts parents in the hot seat if their unsecured firearms lead to tragic misuse by their children. What unfolds next could rewrite the legal playbook.
Okay, with that right there, have your hands, put your hand on your back.
I don't understand this. Can you just explain it to me?
As William Brown becomes the first charged under the so-called Benny's Law, the bill that was signed into law back in March, parent to be charged if they didn't properly store a firearm before their child uses the weapon to commit a crime.